It's time to take a look at the headlines on the papers this morning. Let's get to see what the headlines are across newspapers. And I have with me, I still have Dario Dufo here with us, a journalist. Dario, thanks for staying put. And I have joining us right here, Obani Kinwale. Obani, thank you for joining us as well.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Right, let's go to the leadership newspaper where we start from. Is focusing on insecurity, and it says Nigerians back Senate on call for state of emergency. PMB, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, orders rescue of abducted Niger students and others. Sani Bello rules out ransom and shuts down boarding schools in the state, and then has other multiple riders there. That's the leadership newspaper. Let's go to national economy. National economy says exorbitant shipping fees force importers to abandon cargoes at ports. Exorbitant shipping fees force importers to abandon cargoes at ports. That's the national economy. News Direct says outrage as gunmen attack college in Niger. Kill one student, abduct others. Outrage as gunmen attack college in Niger. Really troubling. That's News Direct. Blueprint newspaper is next. 60 days after Kankara boys' abduction, bandit strike in Kagara kill one, kidnap 27 students and 12 others. All right, bandit strike in Kagara kill one, kidnap 27 students and 12 others. Really troubling there. All right, well, let's go to Daily Times. Daily Times says Senate demands state of emergency as bandits seize pupils in Niger State. Senate demands state of emergency as bandits seize pupils in Niger State. Daily Sun is next. Daily Sun says uproar as bandits kill, abduct students, others in Niger State. Over 100 students reportedly kidnapped at Government Science College, Kagara, 15 in another location. Buhari gives security marching orders. The IGP, NSA ministers visit affected school, and Governor Bello shuts down boarding schools in 4 local government areas. Right? We'll certainly be talking about this as we open discussions. Then, the Punch newspaper. Punch says Niger school invasion. Bandits tied 42 abductees in pairs. Fled to bush on motorbikes. A resident is revealing this. Invaders kill students who raised the alarm. A kidnap of 27 students, 15 workers. I have not heard anything about my daughter, father of abducted worker says that. Rise up, fight bandits, kidnappers back, defense minister tells Nigerians. Rise up, fight bandits, kidnappers back, defense minister tells Nigerians. That's the message from the defense minister if this headline is anything to go by. All right, let's go from there to the Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard newspaper says Kagara College attack, how bandits killed student, abducted 42. As the principal is narrating his own opinion, his narration there. We won't pay ransom to bandits. They'll use money to buy more arms. Governor Bello is saying this. Orders immediate closure of boarding schools in 4 local government areas. Dispatches security officials to state. We're trailing the abductors. The army is saying this. And then the NSCDC may deploy personnel to schools, says acting commandant general. Attack on college unfortunate. UNICEF is saying this. And we have other writers there. All right, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper says Buhari orders rescue as terrorists herd Kagara students into forest. Buhari orders rescue as terrorists herd Kagara students into forest. 36 state governors meet in Abuja. Angry senators declare government incompetent. Demand state of emergency on security. APC assures of safe return of abductees. A defense minister rally Nigerians to resist kidnappers. Bandits. A fleeing terrorist killed 2 policemen residents in, oh sorry, 11 policemen, residents in Yobe. Okay, that's the Guardian newspaper. Daily Trust. Daily Trust says on school abduction, federal government, Niger government in talks with Kagara kidnappers. 42 kidnapped victims in Kaduna forests. We know the abductors. The IG of police is saying this. We know the abductors. The IG says this. Will adopt Katsina tactics to rescue them. The defense minister is saying this. Declare a state of emergency on security. Senate urges Buhari there. Okay, from there let's go to the this day, which is the last one now. This day says, stand up to bandits. Defense minister charges Nigerians as 40 abducted in Niger. Military launches manhunt for kidnappers of schoolboys and others. Security chiefs, ministers in Niger to coordinate rescue. And governor rules out ransom payment, closes boarding schools. A Senate asks Buhari to declare a state of emergency on insecurity. Okay, this headline: stand up to bandits. Defense minister charges Nigerians as 42 abducted in Niger. Okay, Bani, let me start with you on this, and let me start when the Minister of Defense is telling Nigerians to rise up and fight bandits because kidnappers are back. The Minister of Defense is telling Nigerians to rise up. I wonder how this comes to you.
I think this is a very sorry time, or we're in a very sorry state in this country. And gradually, if care is not taken, we are winding towards a failed state. I watched the speech of the defense minister yesterday, and I was a bit disappointed. Disappointed in the fact that the Minister of Defense did not come out to tell us that as a defense minister, he has failed us. What he's telling us now is to start carrying arms. So it gives us a direction of what informed the current governor of Bauchi State when he said the bandits have right to, the rustlers have right to protect their accounts with AK-47. And our defense minister has also told us yesterday that we should defend ourselves. And if you have a guy that carries RPG, AK-47 and what have you, I am sure we are not being expected to protect ourselves with knife or brooms. I will state it without missing word that the failure is from the top to the bottom. In those days, we hear of something like SSS, what they turn to DSSS. Nothing happens in your vicinity. They are always in charge. They have planted their people everywhere. They have all the intels. But I will tell you, 2000 till date, our intelligence capacity is zero. How do you justify a state governor doing jamboree around in Ogun, in Oyo State, where a state is not secure? What do you give justification for a Senate president whose responsibility is to ensure that we have working laws and policy in this country, asking the president to declare state of emergency? On what? Is it to shut down the entire country? Is it that the Senate is not empowered to ensure that the policing is from the local government? It's obvious now that even the state police will fail. Because all of these states that we have kidnappers in the Katsina, they have civilian JTF, they have the local police that they are created by the state government, they kidnap them. In Enugu, just yesterday, I was watching a video of a man for 3 years old that was attacked, that was rescued by the military. So it shows now that we are a military state, a militarized state, because every insecurity in this country now can never be handled by police, by civil defense, by DSSS. Now, everything that happens in this country now, you must involve the military. So, what is the ingredient or the evidence for a failed state? How will the defense minister come not to accept the blame that they are just carrying title without doing anything? What does it take them to tell Mr. President that let all local government chairmen be responsible for their environment? Will the man that is chasing APC registration in Ondo, APC registration in Ogun, the Badon crisis, have time to go and see what is happening in Suleja, talk less of what's happening in Kagara? Did you see the school walls of that school that was attacked a few days ago? Do you see the condition those kids are? And yet we call this a country. And yet we have leaders that ride in SUVs. Does it take National Assembly 1 year, 1 month to pass law to buy cars, to travel abroad, to say they want to build National Legal Institute? Why can't National Assembly for one time sit on with this president and said, Mr. President, the central policing has failed. At every point in time, it's only in Nigeria that at every point in time, you have to call military to go and rescue. Is that what is obtainable even in our neighbor Ghana here? So, and you now have Minister of Defense telling us, so technically, Minister of Defense has legalized what they said is proliferated carrying of light weapons and small arms. Now that he has told us that we need to attack our aggressors. And how do you attack them? So if they are coming RPG to my area, I'm supposed to also have RPG. I'm supposed to have AK-47 because I can infer from the statement. It's so unfortunate. Look at what they are putting those kids through. And again, state government will still go and negotiate with these terrorists. Now that corroborated what the former governor of, the current governor of Nigeria, Kaduna, said that you don't negotiate with terrorists. So what happened now is that these people has 42, and you could hear them say kudi yesterday in that video, which means that they are waiting for government to come and negotiate with them. So the most lucrative business in Nigeria now is no longer politics. It's just kidnap somebody and call and say, come and pay. And the government is saying they are, like Sheikh Usmani said, they are deodorizing the bandits. They are chasing every other person that is doing their local business.
The governor of Niger State is saying that ransom will not be paid.
Really? If you happen to be his son, will ransom not be paid?
Well, that is what the governor has said.
Can he also go without using police escort or military escort and say when he's kidnapped, ransom will not be paid? Where was he when it was happening? Did you see the defense of that school? Has he not failed responsibility as chief security officer of that state? Has he not failed in providing proper fencing for those kids in those secondary schools?
All right. Let me bring Dari in here. Now, Dari, the point there is, in Nigeria, there is the carrying of weapons is not illegal. It has not been legalized. If you have to carry any weapon of any kind, then you have to get a license for it. And you have to prove why you need a weapon as a case, except if you are a security agent. Now, the Minister of Defense calling on Nigerians to rise up and defend themselves, of course, like Nii said, you don't defend yourself with brooms and knives and all of that, especially in a situation like this. If the minister is calling for Nigerians to rise up and fight bandits, I want to believe that he may not be referring to Nigerians to carry weapons. I wonder what you think.
You are trying to infer from what he said
well,
and explain.
The point is,
but I
know there's no law that says we should carry weapons. So if the Minister of Defense is saying that maybe he's saying something else.
No, that has become your personal opinion now. In the light of the realities you have found ourselves.
Certainly, I don't have an opinion.
I think I may want to say that it should now be very easy to get a permit to carry arms in Nigeria now. I think it has become very, very easy, given the statements of those in authority. If I am to apply for that license now, I will not only write applying, I will say with immediate effect. I will put it in my request. I will say I need the license with immediate alacrity, that I used to say. And I will expect that to be given to me speedily. You know why? I will quote the statement of the IG when he said the police is overwhelmed to start my
your application.
I will not fail to quote several calls by the National Assembly on the President to declare a state of emergency in the security sector. Then, lately I will end it with the call by the man who took up the job to defend me, throwing it back at me and saying, young man, defend yourself. It is like a teacher being paid to teach the people, saying, children, teach yourself. That is, it is hacking. It's the same thing. So if he's not saying, defend yourself, don't forget that he's defense minister today because he controls the arms and ammunition in the country, as well as the manpower, the soldiers, the guns, the gunboats, the helicopters, the fighting jets. They are all under his control. That is why he's called defense minister. So for me to take a chunk of that his job, I also need to defend myself with arms and ammunition. So he has tactically told me that go get the arms, go get the ammunition, attack your aggressors. If we continue to make frivolous statements like this, emanating from people in authority, we're encouraging self-help. And that's what international organizations, international governments, religious bodies, local and international, have been preaching against. That don't allow Nigeria to degenerate into a state of self-help. If this happens, our creation as a nation is such that it is so complicated that when self-help creeps in, you will not be able to handle it easily. But not only is the system and the situation encouraging self-help, those in authority are by what they say. If you tell me, attack your aggressors with my frying pan or my wife's cooking spoon, we should understand the fact that statements like that gives the citizen the scenario, the feeling that government is helpless. And the feeling
of you're on your own.
You are on your own. And the first responsibility of any responsible government is the security of lives and properties. If you are now telling me, defend yourself. People took their children to school by a government school, a government boarding school. That is submitting those children to the care of government. Total submission. Then, those children have been kidnapped. The defense minister said, defend. So the father of one of those boys, the fathers of those boys should have been in that school defending his children. I saw the video clip. No fence, no window planes. All the windows are falling off. No windows, no fence. And the children were left at the mercy of whoever cares to attack them. And then what is the government telling us? That we should have defended ourselves. We shouldn't have allowed our children to be kidnapped. This sounds strange to the ear. Then the governor, maybe that's why I disagree with my brother here. I agree with the governor perfectly when he said no ransom will be paid. If we continue to pay ransom, not only are we encouraging others from other parts of the country to do the same thing, we are also, we are funding the arms and ammunition these guys are using. I tell you, if we continue to disassociate banditry, what do you call other names?
The headers.
Killer headers, government. If we continue to dissociate them from Boko Haram and the insurgency, then we are deceiving ourselves. Those insurgents, those terrorists, also need to fund their criminal activities.
Right.
Now, foreign donation, as it were, may be drying up for them.
Right.
They are funding these things with these little local ransoms they are collecting.
Okay.
The police IG said, we know the abductors. Let him come out and tell us this is the name of this abductor. And let them also prove it that that abductor is actually not an insurgent fighting insurgency somewhere.
All right. Now, we've heard government officials at one point or the other saying that many of these people who are perpetrating this are not Nigerians. So if that is the case, then there is a state of, or one would agree, if that is true, that this country is under invasion. It means the country has been invaded. And when it comes to protecting the territorial integrity of this country, of course, the government has the responsibility to do that. And when the IG of police says, we know these abductors, how troubling is that when it comes to the issue of public statements?
So what you look at is that I wouldn't want to say the IGP is not reckless with his statement that they know the abductors. If you know the abductors and you have not tamed them in abducting, then it shows that you have no business being the Inspector General of Police, because your responsibility is to protect and serve with integrity or whatever what the motto is. Now you are not protecting, you are not serving because you know that these people will trigger this kidnapping, whatever, and you have not done anything. Now, on the issue of maybe we are not invaded. Don't forget that we are part of ECOWAS Movement Act that allows people from ECOWAS country free trade and free movement across our borders. And we should not be playing notice of what is happening in Central African Republic, what is happening in Mali, that there are a lot of arms going on, and the shipment of arms from Libya that has gone around the entire Africa. Then, international-wise, the guns are not manufactured in the secret place. The guns, the RPGs are bought in open market and are being supplied either from Russia, from China, open market in South Africa. So, who are the people facilitating the procurement of this arm for the bandits? There was a report by Sumner Sambo a couple of years ago, and it was saying in Zamfara, they will see helicopter parading and dropping weapons for these bandits in the bush. So it shows clearly that, except we are deceiving ourselves, government actually knows what is happening. But what government has also failed to do is that the government is not ready to act. And I will tell you how I say so. When agitators like Sunday Igboho started rooting Fulani out of Ibadan, all of us, including the federal government, says you don't have rights to chase people out from the area they are Nigerians. When this happens in the other part of the country, we all say they are migrating from other part of Africa. So you ask yourself, is the kidnapping in Ibadan or kidnapping in Abeokuta different from kidnapping in Niger or different from the one in Zamfara? At any point it happened in Abia, happened in Oyo Osun, it is done. It is the people are tagging others that are doing their businesses. They are tagging Miyetti Allah. But whenever they are committing crime in the northern part of the country, they migrated from Mali, they migrated from Niger. Now, it shows that government knows something that we don't know. Now, you ask us to be defending ourselves without considering the fact that it has to be monitored. People like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would not be justified that he formed the ESN to protect his people. So what we are saying now is that the government has shown us clearly that they lack the capacity to protect us. Without missing what the government or the head of architecture of security has shown clearly that when kidnapping is done in some part of the country, they are done by Nigeria that are protecting their investment. But when crime is committed in another part of the country, they are done by people from other country, but we are paying the other country. So if we're saying these people are not Nigerians, why are we paying them in Nigerian currency? Who are we negotiating with? How did you know? You say you know them, but yet they are not Nigerians. So how did they even enter this country in the first place? So what happens to policing our borders? What happens to registering all Fulani men? If you want to go through Benin border here, when they close the border in the country, they only close border in the south. People were coming in the north as they troop in droves. So if people want to even pass through a Benin here, you will see people filling forms, you will see the gendarme harassing our people. But the same thing is not obtainable in Niger, in Marte, in Malam Fatori. So what's obvious now is that government needs to state clearly whether the government is government for all or government for few. And again, if the IGP of police knows who these people are and is unable to tame them, but they are ready to give Sunday Igboho, Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu to say, guys, you are secessionists, you are non-state actors, you cannot carry gun. But yet, they allow those boys carrying RPG in broad daylight. And yet, what they will tell us is that we have done intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and we have neutralized this number of bandits. And the following day, people will be kidnapped. And it's not only happening in the north. But what is very, very disturbing now is that anytime it happens in the northern part of the country, it is always done by foreigners. But anytime this thing happens in the southern part of this man, is castle rustlers that are trying to protect their interests. So when they kidnap people on Benin Road, was it elders from Nigeria? They were members of Miyetti Allah that were protecting their cows. Was it not what Batigo State government told us? But whenever it happens in the other pan, you tell us that this guy from Mali, this guy from Niger, this guy this blah blah. We don't want to know where they are from. People are being paid to protect us. So if the IGP job is to ensure that Nigerian territories are protected, if the defense minister job is to ensure that arms are not getting to proper unregistered hand, and yet they are not doing that job, what forms the KPI of whom, Mr. President? He only campaign on three things: security, corruption, and this. Now, yes, Boko Haram is not taking territory, we are made to believe, but every day bandits are killing people across the country. You cannot even travel 100 kilometers in this country without panicking left or right. The railway, people are afraid to travel between Abuja and Kaduna, that the railway can put on the rail line. People are afraid to travel between Benin and Nigeria because you don't know whether those guys will put. I was watching a video on Abeokuta yesterday, and almost about 4,000 cows were running inside Abeokuta, in Southwest, in broad daylight. If those one attack, they will say they are Nigerian, they should move. But what happened to those boys now? They are elders from Niger, from Problem. So it is high time, Mr. President, for once, and Senate and the National Assembly, you don't need president concurrence to ensure that local government chairman, they are paid. They are paid from federation account. Secure their local government. The ward councillors should be responsible to know what is happening in their ward. You cannot bring a Danladi Bako from Borno that speak Fufude or speak Kanuri to come and police me in K2 or police me in Ikwetumodu. It will not fly. It is high time the Senate do their job. They should not do this boy thing that they are doing as if they are just an appendage of the executive.
Okay, we have to leave it here now. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to security and how we should approach it. Nigerians are not happy with the way things are going, but certainly government has assured that
we are tired of assurance. They should not assure. They should do what they are being paid to do. They are not doing it for free. We are not running charity in this country. Everybody is paid at the various level, but they are putting our life at risk.
Yeah, government has assured they will do the needful. Thank you very much, Abani Akinwale, for coming on the program. Dario Dufaoko, thank you very much for coming as well. Thank you.